Yo guys, what's going on? Your favorite villain assassin is here, Life of Rio, and I'm going to be bringing you guys an in-depth breakdown build plus guide on how to use my favorite frame in Warframe, which is Ashe. I've been an Ashe main ever since October of 2012, so I've been using this guy for a very long time, and a lot of people has been asking me to do this because so many different people are giving different opinions on Ashe, on how he is used. A lot of people are just talking about his nerfs, and I'm here to show you guys what you can and can't do in endgame status, since I'm always talking endgame anyway. And this is going to be a two-man run in MOT up to level 700 enemies. There's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a build breakdown and just all of that, all even showing you guys on which weapons to use to utilize Ashe's kit to its maximum potential. Now I'm going to start this out by saying that the rework was not really that much of a rework. It was just necessarily a nerf. You have those players that, you know, necessarily say that, oh, I like Ashe a lot better now. He's not really much of a spammer. Ashe is still a spammer. It's the same exact thing. The only difference is now that you can steal his kills while the enemies are marked. Now we all know that the difference with Bladestorm is that Bladestorm, while you mark those enemies, you have 3 different markers that you can put over their heads, which is gonna signify how many times you're going to strike that enemy. Now personally, that's not going to do anything for you in late game stature up in end game status, and I will show you guys why. The current Bladestorm as it is now after rework is just completely not viable in late game status, but there are instances to where you can use it. Now this is going to be me showing you the nerf to Bladestorm plus arcane trickery, and I have 2 sets, which is 20 arcane trickeries on my Ashe, fully maxed out. And this is it. Every time, once you get over level 120 or 118 level enemies and you do Bladestorm, those enemies, yes, it looks cool on the screen looking like they died because of the bleed proc, but that's not it. That's a complete nerf, and a lot of people are overlooking it. Bladestorm does not activate arcane trickery while those enemies are at that high level status, because the thing about arcane trickery is that you as an Ashe have to deliver the final blow. The final blow have to kill that enemy for you to activate trickery. So that's the thing about it, to why it's a nerf, and it's a very serious strong nerf, because in late game content, that's that oh snap button. You can hit Bladestorm, you can activate trickery because the Bladestorm was so strong. So it's actually a nerf to Bladestorm damage. The bleed proc afterwards is not really that big of a deal. A lot of people look at it and be like, oh my gosh, all of this bleed proc, but it's actually still a nerf to his Bladestorm and the end game damage, because that bleed proc doesn't significantly stay the same when you're doing MOT, because ancients are around and your bleed proc would be significantly lowered. So don't look at that number that you're seeing in the locker room and thinking that's the number that's going to carry over in endgame stature, when it's not. The numbers are going to be way less, and I will show you guys why. So for endgame, what are you going to be doing for endgame? What's going to keep you up? Is arcane trickery not worth it anymore? Arcane trickery is still worth it, because you're going to be using it with his 3rd ability, which is teleport. Teleport is what's going to carry you through endgame, and so with this build, it's going to be based on duration, efficiency, and then you can still use Bladestorm because you're still going to have the damage there for Bladestorm. So it's a lot that's going to go into it for you. So can Ashe go endgame without Bladestorm? Yes, he can. It's a lot of different things that you can do. Now this is me showcasing against level 500 plus enemies. And this is with teleport. Teleport is going to be a very strong necessity move for you. This has always been Ashe's endgame ability anyway. It's just that Bladestorm was just so easy to spam, and it was doing so much damage that a lot of people overlooked it and thought that it was the strongest move in Ashe's kit. But teleport has always been his strongest move ever since covert lethality came out, and covert lethality plus any dagger in the game equals endgame for Ashe. So that's going to be a very strong part of your kit, is to make sure that you get your teleporting down and that you can hold up into endgame stature. So you're gonna have to pay attention to how many seconds trickery has and how many seconds your invisibility has, because when you're running low on trickery, when your trickery is around like 2 seconds, you're going to want to pop invisibility to give yourself another 16 seconds of invisibility, and then do teleport, which is going to activate another arcane trickery, which is going to keep you invisible for at least up to a minute time passed up in MOT or in any long run period. That is how I personally use Ashe. That's how I keep the damage going, and later on I'm going to show you guys how Bladestorm is going to be used in endgame, even though previously I said that the move itself is not good for endgame, which it still isn't. This is just going to be a complementary of weapons to help out Bladestorm, which is really going to help it push forward and actually still do decent amount of work. So let's go ahead and jump into the build first. This is going to be a two-former build. As you guys can tell, this is basically an all-around build. Ashe don't need that much range anymore, and I'm going to be showcasing later on stream. So if you guys don't follow me on stream, my stream name is LifeOfRio, so definitely go ahead and follow. I'm probably going to be nerfing the range even more, because in endgame stature for late waves, like I've tested, you don't need that much range, because the more people you hit equals the more nerf to your Bladestorm damage, which is weird for a lot of people, because the more ancients you come beside, the more nerf, the lower amount of damage your Bladestorm will be doing. So you only want to hit a small group that's in your face, get them out of there. So that's going to be a big thing. Now the weapon choices for Ashe, I'm going to tell you this, guys. The best weapons for Ashe are any weapons that proc viral proc. So the Rock the Cernos is always a plus for me to take the end game. And the reason why is the Rock the Cernos, yes, it falls off. But the thing about the Rock the Cernos is even though it falls off, I don't care about the damage from the bow itself. All I really want is the proc from the bow, the affinity proc. And so what that does is that it half the enemy's health for me, because it's a viral proc. So as soon as that goes off, I'm not showing it right now with the Rock the Cernos, I'm actually showing it with the Dark Dagger. So as soon as the Dark Dagger's viral proc goes off, that's when I will do Bladestorm. Do not do Bladestorm unless that goes off in late game instances, because then the slash procs will become way stronger for you to be able to get more kills, and the enemies won't be as strong because you're halving their health. So that's going to be a great tip for you guys. His first ability, Shuriken, is still just in a really okay spot. It's not a bad move at all, but in far late game stature, it's just going to be okay. His Shuriken mod, which is going to be his Shuriken augment, which strips armor, you can use that for endgame. I've tested it. I've brought it up to at least level 400. But the thing about it is it's not going to be good enough for you to sustain kills. So with Fatal Teleport on this build, you do not actually have to use Fatal Teleport. It just matters on how quick you want to move. Because Fatal Teleport, you can still use it manually. Without Fatal Teleport, just teleport and hit your melee attack button. So it still works the same. But Fatal Teleport just gives you back that energy, because there's going to be energy leeches around. So you can really sustain with that type of gameplay. Now, a lot of people are asking me, why do I keep on my fourth ability while I'm doing while I'm just teleporting everywhere? But the thing about that is, you want to keep on your fourth ability while you're doing Fatal Teleport, and while you're invisible. You do not have to do Bladestorm. Just keep it active at all times. And remember, the thing behind it is because if you come out of teleport, or you run into a bad situation to where you weren't paying attention, and Smokescreen has a little slow cast time, you can instantly cast your Bladestorm, and then you'll be out of that bad situation. So you always keep it as a backup plan, and so that's how I use it. I really do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I actually put more work into this video just because it's Ashe, and because I really wanted you guys to understand. If you guys did like this video, did like the information, definitely go ahead and leave a thumbs up on this video. But as always, if you guys have any question, follow me over on Twitch and follow me on Twitter, which is LifeOfRio, and I'll be more than happy to assist you guys. Now, like I said, Ashe is still endgame, super viable frame. All they did was just nerf Bladestorm. A lot of people were saying that Bladestorm wasn't a nerf, but it was a super nerf. It nerfed his arcane, but there's ways around it, and it nerfs his survivability. So it's just a pretty bad way of going around it, but with his kit originally how it is, you're completely fine. So I will definitely check you guys later on the next Warframe video.